Hey guys, I just want to talk. Sorry, my dog. I just want to talk a little bit about something that I've been experiencing. And so I've recently come into more of a teacher role. And it's not by choice, really. It's something that's just kind of happened. And so basically, I've kind of, ever since like my enlightenment, I've talked a lot with the people in my life, just to explain like what my understanding is. And part of that, a big part of that was like when I was enlightened, I like told my parents, I was like, this is crazy, but I had an enlightenment experience and I found God or spirit, and it cured like my anxiety and my depression. And so that was like my first instance of being, of kind of like teaching, of like giving my wisdom out. And so my mom was much more receptive of what I had to say versus my dad. He already is kind of like into this sort of stuff. He's very much into self-help, self-improvement. He had read like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And so he kind of knew. And so he was like a much more like skeptical than my mom was. And so anyway, ever since then, whenever I see my mom, it's very much like I kind of become her therapist, and it's fine. Like I do enjoy like helping people with their problems. I do. Part of me is like, well, this is supposed to be flipped. Like you're the one who's supposed to be teaching me about boundaries and about like self-care and confidence, things like that. But my mom didn't learn it. Like she didn't learn it from her parents. It's very much generational trauma. And so, I had to be the one to learn these things and then to fix my life. And now I've kind of, I'm helping her. And so anyway, so this has been my experience. And now recently when I moved, I met someone, and it was very serendipitous. Like we were volunteering at the same event randomly, and we just like struck up a conversation, and we really like gelled. And they're super cool. Like we're good friends now. And but they are going through a lot, and a lot of mental health issues, and they have dissociative identity disorder, and they're living in with their parent, and it's not a very like healthy scenario. It's very toxic. And I am kind of like, I want to be like a beacon for them because I have healed a lot. And we're also like on similar pathways with our business and with like stepping out as like as a creative, because they're like a performer. So, and I did my first art market in December, and I have one coming up next week, and I am currently like getting my listings ready to sell on Etsy and figuring out my Instagram for my art business and all of that. So on that point, like we're very, very in tune, and like on the same path in that, but I'm much more healed than they are. And I had an experience this week where I was trying to give them advice instead of actually just listening to them and being there to be a supporter. And so I just wanted to come here and talk about, and also they're not like spiritual at all. They don't believe in like God or the universe or whatever. And so I come up to this point because like they vent to me, and I want to help them, and I want to be like telling them the truth that is like the ultimate universal truth. But I know that I can't show them. Like I can, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, kind of thing. But it's even like, it's not even that. It's like, I can't even lead the horse. And I feel like talking to other spiritual people, like you can't make people change. You can't lead them into the truth. You can't, connect the dots for them. And I really, really want to, like, I want to so bad. I want to help them, and I want to help other people. And these other two friends of mine are also like going through issues right now. And I'm like, I've just been really reflecting about what is my duty and what is my like job here, because I don't believe in coincidences. I know that spirit like led these people to me, and I'm really just like, there's this idea of like you can only answer the questions that are asked. I don't remember what that's from, but I kind of got away from that, telling me to remind myself that like I can only answer the questions that are asked. I can only give my advice and give my perspective when the person is ready for it, and I can't force it on them. And it's like a sneaky way that my urge for control is coming back. It's a sneaky way that my, you know, ego is trying to hold on to things, is trying to control my relationships and control the people around me. And it's in a good place because I want to help them. I want to help the people around me, but I can't. And everyone is their own journey, and so it's just tough. It's tough. And so I'm reminded of like Maharaji and how like people just came to him, right? His whole thing was that he just stayed where he was, wrapped up in his little blankie, and people would come to him. People would, go across the globe to come talk to him. And then when people came, like he often didn't talk. He didn't talk to them. He just stayed silent. And sometimes he would talk, but then also sometimes he would like recuse himself to another room and only let like one or two people coming in. And how like Ram Dass said that he brought like one of his friends with him, but who was like a businessman in America and was like really struggling, and how he brought him to Ram Dass and to Maharaji and was like, please help this man. And Maharaji just ignored him for like days and weeks, and how that really frustrated Ram Dass, but it eventually led to that man's like enlightenment and really healing. And so, and also Ram Dass's healing, because he also had some ego there, because he wanted Maharaji to be on his own timeline. He wanted him to like accept his friend, and then but also like I think that at one point he like brought his friend back with him, but not Ram Dass, and Ram Dass is like kind of insulted by that. And so I'm just like realizing that, in all aspects, I need to be an empty vessel. I need to be a vessel for spirit. I need to just be present and meet that person where they're at, because it's my ego that's trying to like jump into the teacher role, that's trying to fix things, that's, seeing my relationship or this person as a problem that needs to be fixed, when instead my whole point, and it's like, it's crazy because this is like my whole alignment was about how everything's just being present and being there and just being like here now and letting spirit move through you and letting your highest self move through you and letting go of the ego. And yet like I was still sitting in my ego, I was like jumping, and it was like, it did feel like I was jumping at the opportunity to be heard. I was like, no, I need to say these things about what has worked for me in the past, because I wanted to express it, because I wanted to be heard. I wanted someone to listen to me and to like acknowledge all the work that I put in and my journey, and also like benefit from the wisdom. And I'm realizing like it is ego. It's all ego. Even wanting to help someone to the point of like trying to give them advice or trying to explain these spiritual topics to them is my ego. And I have to just trust that, they're taking their steps and spirit is going to show them the pathway, and that whatever I need to tell them and whatever truth I need to express is going to be one that they ask for, and one that comes out naturally and is not me just like trying to shoehorn in the conversation. So, and also like I used to hate when my mom, my dad, where I would be struggling and I would like vent to them, and they would immediately like launch into, these are all the things you need to do. These are all the things that, you're not doing, that like you need to do this for your health. You need to do this. Like, well, why are you doing all these things and you should be this? And even though like that's not my intention, and I worded it incredibly thoughtfully and with a lot of intention of like not blaming and of not being like, this is what you're doing, it's still coming from that same space of like trying to fix the problem instead of just being there for the person. So this is what I'm learning. I just need to be there. And I am learning with my dad too, because I live with my dad, and he we have some struggles sometimes with communication and with him just not being like very emotionally intelligent in our conversations, and how it's very good for me to just focus on being present and listening to him and asking questions about how he feels about things, because then that helps him figure out what his mind is and like where his mind is and what like knots that he's like putting himself in and expectations and stuff like that. So yeah, so anyway, I'm just learning, like my whole journey was me asking myself questions and analyzing my my actions and my feelings, and that's how I came to my conclusion. So now my role is going to be doing that for other people, like being a sounding board for my friend to ask, so I can ask probing questions, because not everyone is as like introspective and they don't know exactly how to ask those questions of themselves. And so it was really good reframing of my life and everything, and just where I am now and how I want to move forward, and trying to help the people around me achieve some kind of enlightenment, or at least some peace in themselves. So anyway, if you have dealt with that too, please comment if you have dealt with that or are dealing with that, about trying to explain truths to people without like shoving it down their throat, kind of thing. So yeah, anyway, I think that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Just an update. So yeah, bye.